Okay, we're recording. Welcome, everybody. This is May the 1st. This is May Day. I love May Day.
Money month of May.
Yeah, it's going to be a good month, a really good month. You know, I have to keep pinching myself because I'm in my 70s. I had my 76th birthday in March,
Oh,
and
you
I
know,
can't believe I'm doing all this techie stuff, right? Because way back in 2011, when I was first laid off my last job, I was 61, and my oldest son was a lead programmer for Microsoft. And he headed up teams of programmers. And he was using LinkedIn to hire software engineers and work on some of his projects that he was working on. And so he said, "Oh, well, Mom, I could hire you and I'll train you how to use LinkedIn." And I went, "Oh, good Lord." I was on no social media, none. And I could barely navigate email. And the reason I tell you my story is because I know that there are so many people just like me who are scared to death of techie stuff. And they're sitting in their lazy boy recliners going, "Oh, woe is me. What I'm going to do. I have no money." And they don't want to go online. They're scared to death. And this program that we have with the Legacy Builders is just absolutely phenomenal. I've been in all kinds of different courses I've purchased. I've spent thousands of dollars on courses. I've spent probably thousands of dollars. Yeah, thousands of dollars on network marketing. And I was on my computer 16 to 18 hours a day, guys, trying to figure out how to do posts and how to build an email list. You're going to laugh at this. I used to go to network marketing email or sit down to breakfast networking meetings, and they would have special speakers come and speak each time. And this one speaker came and told us how we had to have an email list. I just was in stun city, like, how am I going to build an email list? I had no idea. And so what I did is I asked people for their business cards and put a check mark in the corner if it's okay if I add you to my email list. And I used Gmail. Like, I didn't have a proper platform. I was using Gmail. So here's a tip I'm going to give you. And I did it. And don't tell anybody you're doing it, okay?
So
But
I have a quick question for you, Christine.
sure.
Just going back a little. What did you initially, so after with your son, if you don't mind me asking, so what did you initially start out? What was your aim before you gathered the email addresses? What were you shooting for, aiming for at that point?
Well, at that point, we had no income because shortly after I got laid off, my husband got laid off, and we had a little bit of an investment socked away in what are they called? T, I forget what you call it. It'll come to me by the end of the call, I'm sure. Anyway, we had an investment, and it was less than 25,000 that we had stocked away. And that didn't last very long because neither of us had a job, and we had bills to pay and rent to pay, and it was not an exciting time to say the least.
So what was what you were going to start something online? What was that going to be though? Like what was your business?
Well, at that point, I only knew network marketing, right?
Okay, sorry.
And
Okay.
so I was just gonna, and at one point I had up to 26, I counted 26 different network marketing opportunities that I was involved with. 26.
no kidding.
And that is no kidding. And I realized that I was spending out more money, paying out more money than I was making. So I got out of most all of them. I'm only in about 4 now, and they're all programs that I use for my arthritis because I'm bone on bone arthritis in my knees. But I exercise every day. The doctor told me I'm a good candidate for knee replacement, and I'm so scared. Anyway, we won't go into that. Anyway, I'm fighting like crazy, and I feel, guys, like I'm in the fight of my life because we have struggled so hard through lack of money. And we in Canada, since the health crisis, there's been the highest number of bankruptcies ever in history in Canada. And you know who they're mostly with? Seniors.
Seniors.
Yeah.
Seniors.
Because the average, and I hate to tell you this negative stuff, but sometimes it helps to know a little bit of background, right? The average pension in Canada is between 13 and 1,700 a month.
Yep.
And the
Yep.
average rent for a one bedroom in Canada is over 2,000 a month.
Yep.
And I've got friends in Toronto who live in a one room
Yeah.
suite. They're paying 5,000 a month for that one room. That one room. They're
Crazy.
both working 3 jobs.
Insane.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
So I started looking, and once I learned LinkedIn, I thought, oh, well, I was really feeling chuffed. I know something nobody else knows, right? So I went to these networking meetings, and you have to get, it goes around the room, you go around the room, and everybody stands up and gives their 30-second elevator speech. So I stood up the very first time because I saw all these people coming through the door, and they all had gray hair or they were bald. And I went, oh my gosh, they're just like me, out of work, 50 plus, one trying to figure out an income, right? So I stood up and I introduced myself and what I did. And by that time, I had figured out a pseudonym. I call myself the Marketing Mentress online. And, and so I introduced myself and I said, how many of you here are on Facebook? Well, all the hands went up. And then I said, how many of you here are on Twitter? Because it was Twitter at that time. It's now called X. And about half the room, the hands went up. And then I said, how many of you here are on LinkedIn? Well, there was a room. This was a room of 35 to 40 people. And 2 hands went up in that room.
Oh, wow.
And I was number 3. Yeah. I went, oh my gosh. So then I got a brainwave because there was a side meeting room that you could book for free. So I said, okay, starting next week, I've got 2 20-minute slots before the meeting and 2 20-minute slots after the meeting. $1 a minute. I'll help you get started setting up your LinkedIn profile.
Oh, wow. That's genius.
I know.
Oh, that was way too little. Like I should have been charging $10 an
Oh.
hour at least, you know, or
At minimum.
yeah.
Minimum.
But anyway,
That's
I just have
terrific.
been having a blast learning all this stuff as I go, you know. And the good Lord has provided sales, you know, because if somebody wants a one-on-one coaching session with me, I have a big pack. If it's a revamp of their profile, then that's just under 500. And if they just want to set up a brand new profile, because those are easier to do, believe it or not, than it is to revamp one that's existed for a while, it's only 287. So you guys, money started coming in because there were so many people that
Great.
didn't have LinkedIn, right?
Wow.
So here's 5 reasons why you need to be using LinkedIn. I have beside my desk, on my desk, I have stands with printouts. So I have information I can grab at the drop of a hat. And that's how I do my TikTok lives as well. 5 reasons why you need to use LinkedIn. Okay, you got notes?
Yeah.
Number 1, and I get these stats from my oldest son. The average income of people on LinkedIn is 76 to 86,000 annually USD.
How much?
76 to 86,000 USD. Number
Wow.
2, the average income of executives on LinkedIn is 125 to 150,000 annually USD. Number 3, LinkedIn is the most professional platform on the internet, bar none. And I've tried, there's one out there that starts with an A. I'm not going to say the name of it. Be careful. Do not use it because they get into your email and then they'll find all your grandchildren or your nieces and nephews, your uncles and aunts, your moms and dads that you've been emailing to. They'll get in there and they'll send invitations to all your family and friends to come and join their platform, and you'll have everybody mad at you. That's what happened to me. So my aunt, who was just about 90 at the time, she said she was so mad at me. She said I had to finally join because they kept hassling me all the time. So anyway, be careful. That's an aside. So LinkedIn is the most professional platform on the internet, bar none. Number 4, it's the biggest kept secret on LinkedIn is the groups, guys. That's how we can target our perfect audience. There's thousands and thousands of groups on LinkedIn. And then number 5, drum roll. Everybody on LinkedIn's there to do business. even if they're looking for a job, they're open to something that can create an income for them, right? So anytime I see on LinkedIn in one of the groups, when I'm doing research for, or trying to connect, to invite people to connect with me, if I see that circle that's turned green around where their headshot is and it says open to work, I always invite them, send them a message and invite them to connect to me. You get some really good leads that way. So, okay, let's get down to brass tacks here. Okay, here's something I've learned about LinkedIn. There's two key things. You need to get leads, right? You need to invite people to connect with you on a regular basis, and you need to follow other people. So those are two really key things. And part of doing that is learning how to give recommendations. Now, LinkedIn is the only social media platform where you can give recommendations. And you don't ever ask for a recommendation. You never ask for a recommendation. You always be proactive. And anytime you do business with somebody one-on-one or have a virtual coffee meeting with somebody, you go to LinkedIn and write a recommendation about that person without being asked. And they turn around and they go, oh, thank you for the recommendation. And they'll tell you if you need to correct something, you can go in and correct something if you have a date wrong or whatever, you know. And then you correct it and send it back. And then they'll probably turn around and write you a recommendation back. Recommendations are huge on LinkedIn because when a recommendation is written, you try and use keywords that you see that are in their profile, because then LinkedIn will pick out other profiles with those same keywords and show them to more people. So the next thing, number 3 thing, is skills. You want to endorse people for skills that they've got. So let's go into who wants to use their profile as an example today. Anybody want to use it?
Not really on LinkedIn, so
You're not on LinkedIn?
I can use mine.
my son set it up
Are you-
like years ago. I don't use it.
You
Okay,
want to use
Shay?
mine, Christine?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to get you to share your screen.
Okay. All right. 1 second.
There we go.
All right. Well, look at who we see here. All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
we can.
All right.
Okay, so go to your profile page. A little me button there in the top. Yeah, click on there. View profile. Just click on view profile. That's all you want to click on right now.
Yeah, I did. I'm not
Okay.
sure why. Hold on. Let me refresh. Not really sure. Of course, Murphy's Law.
Just scroll up to the top. There's no problem. I think you're on your profile. You just need to scroll up a bit. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Okay.
What is that background picture? What does that mean?
Corporate.
Say it again.
What does that background picture mean?
It means I like high buildings and being in an executive office or an office environment if possible.
Okay,
No,
so
no
I had,
offense, no offense, but it says job to me.
yeah, J-O-B.
Anyway.
Well,
Okay.
yeah. Okay. Got it.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this. Do you ever feel like you've been handed a bill of goods? You've been taught all your life to go to school, get a good education, get a good
Bold
job,
people.
and work until you die. No, I mean, work until you retire, right?
Right.
But we end up working till we eat dirt, right?
Mhm.
And basically that's what's happening to most of us. And so what we need to put on there is in our background banner. And I'm not doing this to be critical. I'm just doing this to be helpful, okay?
No, this is
Yes.
great. No, that's why I'm here.
Full heart here. That background banner needs to tell people what you're about. Because if you're, and so this is an example of an existing LinkedIn platform, a LinkedIn profile. So you can see where it would take work to revamp everything to what you're doing now, right? If you're not working at a job. So
Right.
that background banner would need to be changed. And I'll show you my page in just a few minutes here.
Okay.
And then your name is great. So you've got open to work there. See? So you would be one of the first people I would send a message to and say, hey, I notice you do. Now I'd go through your profile a little bit so that at least see the headline there. You're a business analyst, you do business process improvement, you're into change management and all this stuff. Okay, so if I'm your perfect customer with what you're doing now, what would my perfect customer be looking for? What would you be looking for in your perfect customer? What are they looking for?
Business.
Are they looking for
Uh,
business? Oh, here's somebody.
Business.
They're looking for some way to make extra money, right? They're not necessarily looking to start a business, but they're looking for a way to make extra money. If they're if they're doing what we're doing with the legacy program, right? But if you're not with the legacy program and you're in a job, so maybe I should ask you guys, do you all have an online business?
Yes.
Okay, so Shay, you work in an office, right?
I am currently unemployed due to a recent business's decision to consolidate operations
Wow,
of 1,750 people here in Dallas.
wow. Oh, I love Texas. I love their attitude down there.
Oh, well, that's good to know. That's good to know. No, currently I am unemployed. I am job searching. However, I'm giving thought to possibly doing something on the side,
Mhm.
my own business. Maybe just, and by that I mean doing my own, going out on my own to do business analytic type of work,
Mhm.
temporary or contract type of work,
Mhm.
setting up an LLC here on my own.
Wow.
It's a thought. I've kind of got my little business plan here, but
Right.
yeah.
So if I were you and I was revamping your profile, I would go in to take this picture and put it in Chat GPT and
Okay.
put some writing on there, something about how you help people or how you help businesses, right? Just has to be short, a few words. And
Oh, okay.
so then what you have down here in your headline needs to scream to who your perfect customer is. What are they looking for? So
Okay.
all your experience all your business analyst, business process improvement, that experience would go into your experience listings on your profile. And in the headline, yeah, so you want to make sure that it's listed, your education and your experience would have all that information in it, right?
Okay.
Because when you've got 3 seconds to grab somebody's attention online, 3 seconds. So they need to see right away, 3 seconds that, oh, I need to read some more about this. Oh, I really need this. And so your whole profile needs to be set up to scream to who you would be working with, the kind of
Okay.
customer you'd be working with, right?
Understood. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of the big mistakes that most of the LinkedIn strategists teach. They teach you to talk about yourself on there. It is your profile, but you're never going to have very many clients or customers if all you talk about is yourself, because they're just going to go and look for who can help me. Have they got what I need, right?
Right.
Okay, so then let's go down. So you want them to stay on your profile so that then you can, they'll scroll down and they'll go to your about page. So go down to your about page and you open up your about page. So you've got up to 2,000 characters that you can use in here, right?
Okay.
And you can talk about some of the pain that some of your clients or businesses you've worked with have experienced. Talk about
Okay.
some of their pain points, what they've experienced, and how you were able to help them, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Got it.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's what I would be doing.
Okay.
And then start making videos. Start doing
Okay.
talking videos. You can use Loom for free and just make short little
Loom?
videos and start sharing stories of things that you've experienced at your work and how you solved the problem. And then
Okay.
have some kind of a call to action at the end. So if you'd like
Okay.
to know more about how you can how this will help your business, just put ready in the comments and I'd love to share it with you.
Okay.
That kind of thing. And on LinkedIn, we're not allowed to blast our website around. We're not allowed to blast our website.
Okay.
But I work around that a little bit because I use Canva, and the thumbnail for YouTube is perfect for LinkedIn. So I use thumbnails all the time on LinkedIn. And have you used Canva?
Yes.
Awesome, awesome.
Not for LinkedIn, but I've used it before. Yes.
Yeah, that's great. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. I don't want you to feel embarrassed.
No. No.
And the way I get posts to go up on my LinkedIn is I look for famous quotes with pictures. And you
Okay.
can just Google it, famous quotes with pictures, and it comes up. There'll be a whole bunch of pictures with all different famous quotes from different people. And you can use those. And I put those into Chat GPT and get them rewritten with Chat GPT and ask
Wow.
Chat GPT to put a call to action at the end. So you want to
Okay.
list all the pain points that you want to cover in your post and tell Chat GPT that, and then talk about the solution in your communication with Chat GPT, and then ask them
Okay.
to give you a call to action. And at the beginning, tell them a little bit about you. You have to introduce Chat GPT to yourself so that you can get Chat GPT to start speaking like you, so they sound like you.
Yeah.
And you can say, I'm a business analyst and I'm helping people do da-da-da-da-da-da, right?
Got it. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right.
And so these need to have pictures and videos in them in your
Okay.
featured posts that you've got there.
Okay.
And you can
So
also
videos can go right in your LinkedIn profile, right on there.
yeah, it can go onto your featured. Now, what you do, you use the little pencil to add new ones in, because you're only allowed so many up there at a time. So you click on the pencil and you add a post, add a link, whatever. But you can put your website right on your Canva post that you have. And for some reason, it bypasses the algorithm, in other words, the search engines on LinkedIn. So if you're to do a post and then in the comments section below the picture, you put in your website, what would happen is LinkedIn would get you in trouble. They would send you to LinkedIn jail very shortly after you start doing that. So you need to find ways to work under the radar with LinkedIn's search engines, because they're very, very powerful.
Okay.
So if you go up to the very top, click on home, the home button. Yeah.
Sorry.
See up there where it says you can put a video, a photo, or write an article or start a post.
Yeah.
Click on start a
Okay.
post. Click on start a post. Yeah. So that's where you can, and see down there, you can upload a picture You can upload a video, see all the things you can do.
Okay.
And so where you share your thoughts, each picture you put up there. So when you use ChatGPT and have ChatGPT rewrite the quote, you can leave that quote in the main part of the picture, the original quote, but
Okay.
ChatGPT is amazing at rewriting everything.
Yeah.
And so you just paste in there what ChatGPT said and edit it a little bit. If you don't think it sounds like you, don't be afraid to edit things that Chat gives you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
I
you don't have to.
definitely do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Good to know. Thank you.
yeah, so I'm going to harp on something here with you guys a little bit today. And I mentioned it at the very beginning when we first got online, how important it is to have multiple streams of income. If you only have one stream of income and you get laid off, that it's usually a job, right? What are you going to do? Yeah, we were so stuck and had so much problem. And we had to go to our church for help to buy groceries at one point, and we even had to declare bankruptcy. So we've gone through bankruptcy. We're out of it now, but boy, I don't wish that on anybody. And that's how I came to know about all these statistics, because I found out that we weren't the only ones. And so once I learned what to look for online, it wasn't network marketing necessarily. It was things that were done for me, that were already built and ready to go, that I could just use and have an income on the side. And so I was scrolling on Facebook one day and I saw this post, make 100% commission on 2 hours a day. And I went, what? I'm spending 16 to 18 hours a day on my computer now. That's what I was thinking back then. And I have to share my commission with a whole bunch of other people because I was doing network marketing. And I thought, I got to read more about this. Well, it only took me a couple of hours to make a decision. I just jumped in with both feet. I got the big program. So I had access to 4 streams of income. There's a 900, a 600, a 300, and a 100. And they all have different names. The 900 is called the Legacy Builder Program. The 600 is the Digital Mastery. And the 300 is called the Passive Daily Pay. And the 100 is called the Launchpad. Well, then I got in there, and you just have to know a little tiny bit of tech. It's 95% done. And it was perfect for me. And the videos were there, and I call it my play, stop, do system. Play a little bit, stop it, do it on yours. Play a little bit, stop it, do it on yours. And I was able to get my domain name connected up with the program so that it would plug into my system.io email platform so that I could build my email list. For the first time in my life, I had a way to really build an email list. And we have a whole bunch of realtors who have bought the program, and they're just using it to build an email list. Because if you're in real estate and you go to a real estate office, they all have their own email platforms. And they give you a code to get into your little corner of the corporate email platform, and you can build an email list. But then if you move away into another office and maybe a different real estate company, you can't lift that list off that platform and take it with you. So you lose all your work for your email list. So we've got a ton of realtors that are in this community. There's 52,000 members in this community, and they're scattered all over the world. I have people who have bought packages from me, programs from me from the UK, a whole bunch of people in Canada, United States, Africa, South Africa, Australia. It makes the world really small, but these people are scattered all over the world. And there are tons of people looking for ways to have side incomes coming in. If we didn't have 10 streams of income when I was growing up on the ranch, we would have been homeless. We would have lost everything. My dad was a veterinarian. We broke purebred quarter horse cow ponies and sold them for Greenbroke cow ponies. We had cattle for butcher and for breeding. We had hogs for butcher and for breeding. We had chickens that we sold the eggs. We had 6 milk cows that we milked by hand and sold milk. This before the Department of Agriculture got involved. And we had hired hands. We had up to 7 hired men every summer working with us. We had 4 huge alfalfa hay fields. That was number 9. Did I say my dad was a veterinarian?
Yeah.
And he would go to fix somebody's sick animal because he specialized with large animals, and they wouldn't be able to pay him. And so he would come home with, they would barter things, or they would invite him to stay for dinner, and that was his pay. Like, so that took a big hit. Lots of times it took a big hit. So if we didn't have all those other streams of income, we would have really been up the creek without a paddle. That's my favorite saying, by the way. Up the creek without a paddle. And I'm just so thankful that I was raised with an open-minded thinking. And my dad was always thinking outside the box. Like, what else can we do? How can we fix things better? And us, I'll tell you a little aside. We were never allowed, us girls were never allowed to huck bales. We had 60 to 100 pound rectangular bales, right? We didn't have those great big round things that they have now. And actually they have the great big square ones now. You have to lift with a forklift. And we had the tractor. Us girls were supposed to drive the tractor. And behind the tractor, we pulled the baler. Behind the baler, we pulled the stuker, which was a platform that had teeth on the end. And we'd put the bales on corner-wise on these teeth and then stack them up in little pyramids. And then there was a lever on the side of that stuker that you'd kick that lever down, and the whole platform would lift up and pull the teeth out from underneath the bales that were stacked in those little pyramids. So by the time we finished haying and then baling, we have a field full of all these little pyramids. So then we go and take the tractor and the baler and the stuker and disconnect the baler and the stuker, and we'd hook up the hay wagon and then go around the field again to pick up all the stooks. So there was one person on the ground, one person driving the tractor, and one person on the hay wagon, grabbing the bales and stacking them on the hay wagon as we went around the field. Huge work. There's nobody in my family that's fat, even to this day. Yeah. We worked very hard. So when I grew up, I didn't have tech, right? Didn't have any of this stuff. So this is like an adventure for me. So here's something I want to really emphasize. There are 4 things that we need to be successful in business today. If we're going to build a business on the side, you need a computer, because to get everything set up, you need to have a computer set it up on. You need a smartphone, because once you get it set up on your computer, you can run your whole business on your smartphone wherever you are through the day. And you need to have access to the internet. And number 4, you need to have a teachable mind. And that's what I see a lot of the boomers, most of my customers are boomers. And that's my perfect audience, is people who are 50 plus. Gen X, Gen Y, and boomers. They don't have any tech. And I see so many people get onto an online program. Either it could be a course that they've purchased, or it could be even this program, the legacy program. And they just freeze because of their mind. And when I was a kid growing up on the ranch, we were never allowed to think negative. Never, ever. If we came to the breakfast table in the morning, because my mom had up to 7 hired hands sitting around that table, plus 6 kids, and my dad and mom. And usually there was a truck driver or 2 in there, because we had propane. We didn't have natural gas at the time. And so those truck drivers would come usually at mealtime. For some reason, they always ended up at our place at mealtime. And so they would come to fill our propane tank. And then we had big fuel tanks with all the different fuels that the different equipment used in the barnyard as well. So we were self-sufficient until the gas tanks and the propane tanks were empty, because our cooking stoves were all run on propane. And we had a windmill in our barnyard to get electricity. And it wasn't until I was about 12, I think, before we got electricity from the main line coming in. We didn't even have the lines out there. So I'm 76, by the way. So, and I tell people that because I'm an example of having a positive attitude. So if we came to the breakfast table with a grouchy face, Mom would point down the hall and go to your bedroom till you can find your smile, right? And it only had to happen to us one time. Then when we got back to have breakfast with the rest of everybody, there wasn't much breakfast left with all those people around the table. So we had to invent the oatmeal sandwich or something with what was left on the table. We were not allowed to go to the cupboard and get peanut butter and jelly. So that only happened to us one time, and we knew right away, okay, we have to find our smile somehow. So to this very day, you will never hear a negative word out of my mouth because we were never allowed to speak negatively.
Mm.
And I always find, and in my own mind, sometimes I'm working on a project and I think, oh, am I ever going to get through this? And then I slap myself mentally. I don't literally do it, but hit my head over with a virtual 2x4 and say, that's enough, stop.
Good, that's good. This
We have
one,
to control ourselves, right? It's all how we think. And if we keep thinking that somebody else's fault, it's somebody else's fault or whatever, we'll never succeed at anything we do. So my parents would never let us speak negatively about anybody or anything. If we did, they put their hand up and we knew we had to shut up. So this one time my dad came back from a vet call and he got out of his El Camino. Do you know what an El Camino is?
Yep.
It was, yeah, those were a long time ago.
Yeah.
And he came out and he pulled out this big fluffy ball of a puppy. And it was a Saint Bernard pup. It was only 6 weeks old, but was it ever big? It was huge. And we fell in love with it, but it was one of his barter things that the farmer couldn't afford to pay, but that pup was worth probably $1,200, right?
Wow.
Purebred Saint Bernard. And he went everywhere with us. He went with rounding up cattle and he went swimming with us. He went everywhere. And when I write newsletters, I've been sharing stories about what happened on the ranch and how I liken it to business. And we had to train Mike. We called him Mike. And if we missed a day training Mike, he would regress
Oh.
and be going back to puppy lick your face all the time.
Mm.
And it's the same with business. If you miss a day with your business, you lose traction. And then you have to backtrack and do it again. And so being successful on a ranch and in training animals, the same thing applied to the horses. If we missed a day with the horses, it was like we had to backtrack and start all over again almost with that animal. And same with our business. If we're building a business online, we need to be doing it every day. There's 2 key words I've learned in my life: consistency and patience. If we aren't consistent with everything we do, like if I don't brush my teeth every day, I'm going to lose my teeth eventually, right?
Mhm.
It's the same thing. We have to do these same boring routines every day. And there are just a few key things that we have to do with the Legacy Builder business. We need to create 3 posts a day. And there's some helpful platforms that you can use. I use repurpose.io. I have it connected to my TikTok. And I learned TikTok, guys. I'm still learning more tricks. I got to figure out how they put those little those screenshots in there. That's my next thing to figure out. But anyway, I've come a long way. And so you have TikTok connected up to repurpose.io. And then repurpose.io automatically sends your videos one by one as you set them on a timer. So I've got mine set to go out 9 a.m. One goes out, 12 noon, one goes out, 3 p.m. one goes out, right? And they take those videos and they put them on LinkedIn, YouTube, Pinterest, X, So it saves me time. I just have to do them one time and post them on my TikTok, and then they get sent out automatically with repurpose.io. And I'm just on the basic paid pro platform. I think I pay around $40 a month or something. It's not a lot. So I'm all about learning how to do multiple purposing for everything I do. So everything I do with business has to have a way to pay me at least twice, because of what I learned on the ranch, having 10 streams of income. And I don't have quite, let's see, I've got 14 streams of income now that I have built for myself. And
Wow.
I've got 4 streams of income with the Legacy Builder program, because that's set, it's a fully automated email platform that we're taught, and we're taught how to build the email platform. And we have a website that only costs us $39 one time, and that goes to the techs that develop the website. But you choose which one of those platforms you want. You can upgrade if you want to upgrade, whatever. I maxed out my credit card. I got the big pack because I knew it gave me 4 streams of income right out the gate.
Yep.
And then I've got several streams that I've set up with my LinkedIn programs that I've got available. So we have multiple streams of income here, my husband and I. We have our pensions, that's one. We manage this apartment building that we live in, because when we happened to move in here, shortly after we got in, the person who was managing this building got sick and had to go into a nursing home. They were seniors as well. And so we've been managing this building for over 10 years. And so here we are in our 70s, and we have to clean the building. It's an old building. There's no elevator. We have to do all the minor repairs, all the yard work. There's about an acre of yard and parking area. And it's a lot of physical work. So our question is, how long are we going to be healthy enough to keep on doing this? We need to create something else, right?
Yeah.
So with this legacy business, I was doing my taxes on Sunday. I don't usually do stuff on Sunday, but my ox was in the mire, so I did taxes on Sunday.
Your ox was in the mire.
My ox was in the mire.
That's funny.
So you're going to get a lot of old-fashioned slogans from me.
Mhm.
Anyway, I didn't realize how much money we made last year. So this program, I'm getting teary-eyed, has really been a miracle for us to help us subsidize our pensions. And I'm so thankful that I've discovered the internet, because when I first started, and if it hadn't been for my oldest son teaching me how to use LinkedIn, I probably wouldn't even be on it even today, because I was so scared of social media. But you know what I did? I read the entire terms of use for LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, because I needed to know what the rules of engagement were. And that's what taught me the rules of engagement. So I've had very little problem with social media platforms, because I usually go in and read all the terms of use. And I did the same with TikTok. I read the terms of use with TikTok. And you know, it's about a good week's worth of reading to read all those terms of use. They're long, really long. So I'm going to share my screen with you for a few minutes here. That, guys, I could talk to you all day about the things that I've experienced, but I really want to, let's see if I can get into the windows are so small, and this window that shows up. I'll take you into my LinkedIn. So I'm in the middle of publishing an article here. I publish an article once a week. And this article is called the LinkedIn Legacy Builders. And ChatGPT suggested that I call my program, my new program that I just set up. It's a 6-week program. And I called it the LinkedIn Legacy Builder. I put an S on there because there's going to be more than one in this group. And it's going to be for 6 weeks. We'll meet once a week for 2 hours and I'll give homework at the end so everybody has things they can do.
Hmm.
And I'm only going to charge $47 per person for the first 10 people that join.
Hmm.
And then I'm setting it up as an affiliate program so that the first 10 people and anybody else who joins can also send out the message to their people, and anybody who joins through their link, they will get a commission.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. And so the first 10 get it for 47, and the next people after that, everyone after that is 97, which is a steal. It's really a steal of a deal. I've had coaches tell me that I'm charging too little. I need to be charging $225 an hour. But I'm not. I know that there's a lot of people like me that are starting out and they just are really tight for money. And I don't want to have to force somebody into bankruptcy because they've maxed out their credit card and they can't pay it off. And that's what happens to seniors today in Canada. So we're going to build your legacy on LinkedIn, even if you're not tech savvy. And I've got some videos that I've been putting together and putting this article together, and I'm going to publish it as soon as I get my pay links finished and get them all set up. But I publish a LinkedIn article every week, one article a week. And then I take that article and put it into a post. And I post that article. So if you go up at the top of the page, you'll see this little, I'll go to a different page here. I usually keep 2 of my LinkedIn pages open at the same time. So you go into this 9 dots, I call it the crosshatch. You click on there, and then you go to the groups. This is providing you already have groups, right? On list of groups that I'm in, I'm only in about 20 or 25, not a lot. You can be in as many as 100, but I don't advise that at all. I was in 100 at one time, but you can't manage it properly. So once I get my article published, then I share it as a post in each one of my groups. And the key is to join groups that have at least 3,000 members. And the reason you want to have at least 3,000 members in a group is because this is what you're going to use for your inventory to send messages to people, inviting them to connect with you. And the way you work through your group, let's just start with the top one here. I don't want to hit the dots. I want to get into the group. You click this show all button. And you get into your group. This is all your groups. So you start with your alphabet. You go with A. Watch. See how they go with all the AA people? And you want to look for people that have a 2 or a 3 beside their name. If they have the 1 first, that means you're already connected to them directly. So you invite people that have a 2 or a 3. The Scott Aaron, I invited him to connect with me, but he's not accepted because he's also a LinkedIn strategist. We have slightly different ideas about LinkedIn. But so there's owner partner, wholeness healings. So you want to look for, with me, I recommend that you look for businesses that would have your perfect customer in. So with me, I look for people that are looking for work, they're in affiliate marketing or network marketing of some sort, because they tend to understand the legacy style of building a business. So then you go, once you go through your list, then you go A, B. Once you get through that list, see how they change the search. Then you go AC, it changes it again. You get all the way through the alphabet on the right side, and then you go B, A, B, B, and you work all the way through. And so when you find somebody, this person's a civil engineer, construction manager, he's open to work. See, he's got this little thing beside him, right? So let's see if we can send him a quick message here.
Hey, Christine and everyone, I need to go ahead and drop for a meeting here in 5 minutes. But I
Oh,
just wanted to
okay.
say, Christine, this was absolutely amazing, so valuable. And
thank you.
you're amazing. I mean, this is, wow, good for you.
Thank you very
Congrats.
much. Well, thank you. And thank you for letting me be for being my guinea pig.
Oh, no, I'll definitely connect and follow with you and follow up with you and
Mhm.
connect with you maybe offline here sometime in the very near future.
That would be awesome. Love to do it.
All right. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. Thanks,
very
everyone.
welcome. Have a good meeting.
Rest of your day.
Yes.
Thank you. Evening, depending where you are.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this little message. We are both in the same multi-level marketing group. Whoops. So I will quite often just fill that out. I also have a Word document that I just copy and paste. You need to change your message to a different message about every third message so you don't get stamped by LinkedIn as a bot, because LinkedIn hates bots. If they suspect that you're a bot in any way, you'll lose your profile.
Ooh.
So this is just like a regular message, right? Now watch what happens when I click send. Watch what happens. See the little blue man in the top right corner? Do you see this little blue man up here?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
You do not click that little blue man, because what will happen is you will alert the LinkedIn search engines that you have invited somebody to connect and you've used up one of your invitations. You have a limited number of invitations that you can use on a daily basis. And it's usually about 5. But if you haven't been active on LinkedIn and very active, or you're brand new, you start by just inviting maybe 3 people to connect with you, and you do it. I'll show you how else to do it, because you want the search engines to know that you exist, right? And that you're working your profile and you're trying to build your community. And the goal is to get your community to 500 plus members. 500 plus members. So you get those 500 plus members, then anybody who sees your profile is going to see that you have, well, you're a person of influence, basically. If they see that 500 plus on your profile, then you're considered to be a person of influence. So you don't want to click on the little blue man unless you want the search engines to know that you're using up one of your invitations. So I'm going to get out of this and I'm going to go back to, let's see, to trying to think which I should do first. Let's go to my network first. And so you see, this is where I've got my connections. The only reason you're seeing that is because I'm sharing my screen, right? Otherwise you would never see that. And these are the contacts. I've got followers. So I've got over 23,000 followers and connections on LinkedIn. And the limit is 30,000. So I've got a ways to go before I reach my limit. And these are all people that I have sent invitations to connect, or they've sent invitations to me to connect. So I can read through their profiles and decide whether I want to connect with them or not. And there's Gemma. Now, this was a total fluke. I saw a charge go through my bank account for my most trusted network. See down here, my most trusted. And it wasn't big, it was only $14 and change. And so I got hold of the company to find out what it was I was paying for. And so this sweet Gemma got back to me. She sent me her calendar and she said, let's book a chat. So we had a chat. And she said, what is it you do? She said, I'm actually looking for something. She's going to join the Legacy Builder program.
Cool. Nice. That
So
worked out well.
yeah, you never know, right? And oh, jeepers. And they invite you to attend their LinkedIn Lives as well. There's a lot more people doing LinkedIn Lives now. And I'm not going to deal well with Susan. Maybe I'll accept. I'll be back from my trip. I'm leaving on Saturday to go down to Chicago to my second oldest granddaughter's graduation from university with her bachelor's degree. So I'm going to be gone until the 13th of May, but I'm still going to do my LinkedIn stuff. And because even though they're 2 hours difference, in fact, it might be nice. I could sleep in a little bit in the morning. I don't want to let any of my people down. So these are all people that you can go and accept or ignore. I'm not going to do any more right now. But down here, LinkedIn invites you or suggests that you might want to connect with a whole bunch of people here, right? And so, but here's the thing, you have to be cautious because as soon as you click this connect button, the LinkedIn search engines will be on alert that you are inviting people to connect with you, and they're going to watch for you to hit a limit for the day or for the week or for the month. And there'll be a little, when you reach your limit, there'll be a little pop-up window that'll open up and it will say you've reached your limit for the day or for the week or for the month. When you see that pop-up window, you stop inviting people right there. Stop pressing these connect buttons. And then that's when you go turn around and go into the groups and start sending those messages out like I was showing you. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. So there's all kinds of people that you can read a little bit about. They just got a little bit from their headline here. And you just go through really quick and see which ones might be good for you to connect with. Because they're going to be from all walks of life. The big mistake I made when I first started LinkedIn is anybody who invited me to connect with them, I accepted the connection. And so I've got people from all over the world who do all different kinds of business. And so that was nobody knew. Nobody told me that I needed to control or shape my algorithm, right? So LinkedIn is just like TikTok, and that's why they work together so well. Most of my people have come through LinkedIn, which has been people who've either clicked on my posts or they've gone into my email list and they've been receiving my emails on a regular basis, and then they start asking questions and they end up joining. Or they've come through TikTok, but I've only had about 4 or 5 come through TikTok, and all the rest of my people have come through LinkedIn either through the email list or through clicking on my posts. But here's the thing, you guys, you need to understand, LinkedIn is the long game. I've been working LinkedIn for 14 years.
Mhm.
So you need to be concerted effort, use a concerted effort to build your following on LinkedIn and do a few people every day, just 3 to 5 people every day until you get that pop-up. And it'll only take you about 5 or 10 minutes. It won't take a long time to do it once you get used to doing it. So let's see. there aren't very many people here that I, right off the bat, can see that I want to connect with. Here's a network marketer. So I'm going to click on the connect buttons because you cannot use a message. All you can do is click that button. So I've alerted the search engines that I've sent one request to connect, right? But look at here, we've got these open to work, right? So I'm going to connect with them too. And another thing that you need to realize is some of these people turn off the connection buttons. So back in your privacy, when you click on the little me button here and you go into privacy and settings, there's a place where you can go and turn off. So I won't go through it today. Maybe next week we'll go through all the privacy. My next one will be on the 15th. So I'll be back from my trip by then. We'll go through privacy and settings and show you where to set things. There's a setting on here that you can turn off. So if you're doing a whole bunch of editing on your LinkedIn profile, there's a turn off button so that everybody in your network doesn't get alerted every time that you put something up there. They'll say, Kurt has a new this, or Angela has a new that. And they alert all your connections, and people kind of get sick of that. So you have to turn that button off while you're making all your edits and then turn it on again afterwards. Okay. Are there any questions here? I've just been sort of rattling on today.
Okay. No, you seem to be doing a very good job here. So do you have any idea when your buttons are going to be ready? Because to be honest, I would like to be one of the first 10. Remember I was asking you about it last week?
Okay. I've only got 3 people so far, so I'll put your name down.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
So Angela,
Findlay.
Findlay.
L-A-Y.
Okay, you're one. You got a spot.
Awesome. Okay. And it's going to be 6 weeks.
What's your email, Angela?
Anfin, A like Apple, N like Nancy, F like Frank, I-N like Nancy. So ANNFIN@gmail.com.
Okay, I gotcha.
Awesome. Thank you, madam.
Awesome. I hope to get that finished setting up today. I've been working on it all week.
Oh, okay.
Okay, any more questions?
Not from me, because we're gonna be running out of here.
Uh-huh.
But I guess
Okay.
I'll see you later on the call. Are you coming?
Let's see what's coming in. Oh yeah, with what's next?
What's next? Yeah.
Yes, sure. Yeah, I'll probably see you there.
All right. All right,
Thank you,
Doris.
Kurt. I really appreciate your support.
Yes, thank you for everything you
Okay,
do.
Kurt. All
Oh,
right,
it's
thanks,
great.
Christine. That's awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. I consider you my friends.
Yeah, you are. All right, Doris. See you later.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye-bye.